So this next video is going to be about another backcountry project, not quite helicopter supported because we're only about a quarter-mile into the woods, but this is the memorial bridge going over Cold Brook near Cold Brook Falls in Randolph, New Hampshire. And the interesting thing is that this bridge is almost in its centennial years, 99 years old. So next year will be this bridge's centennial and also the bicentennial of our town. So it's a really neat coincidence. And you know, there's a lot of interest in the bridge, specifically because the family of the original builders is still in town, the Cutter family, and they have generously donated funds to update the bridge. So check out this project. It's really cool. Hope you enjoy it. All right, here we are back out in the woods on the link trail, and we're working on the memorial bridge. Here's the bridge, and you can see I've got it partially demolished. I'm going to take the whole thing apart, and basically I'm just taking the decking and the railings off, and I think the underpinnings are fine. I've just got to shim up the right side of it because it's kind of, I don't know if you can really tell, but you can't really tell in this picture, but it's definitely leaning downhill, downstream to the right, and I'm going to straighten that out and improve the footway. Anyway, that's my job for the next 2 or 3 days. I'm about a quarter mile. See, here's some of the stuff that's basically I can drive to within about 100 yards of here, and then all this stuff had to be carried in, and all the old bridge will have to be carried out. My truck's about 100 yards down this trail. Anyway, that's the job for the next couple of days. So you can see I have the railings off. It's really neat how they built this thing. It's like one giant log going from abutment to abutment, and then a couple of other logs, looks like more like telephone poles actually, attached to it. So I'm going to just take this whole decking off, and then we'll put together a game plan at that time. Again, another beautiful spot to work in. Cold Brook Falls right there. Very popular spot. You know, nice place here. So this bridge was built in 1924. Here's a little plaque. Designed and built by Louis F. Cutter, Eldridge H. Blood, 1924. 99 years ago. And the original underpinnings are still solid. The Cutter family, descendants of Louis F. Cutter, are the ones who are paying for these renovations on the bridge. Let me show you how they built this thing. You can walk down underneath. I'm just putting a new deck and railings on it. I'm not redoing the whole thing. But I mean, look at this. These big, masonry abutments, stone abutments, right on a nice little river. But look at this. That's like an 18 or 20 inch diameter spruce tree. How the heck they got it in there, I don't know. But evidently they probably built up to here, and then got this tree in there somehow, and then continue building up around it. So anyway, and then they mounted a couple of, looks like telephone poles out on the sides. So my job is to level this out. I'm going to put something to protect these, probably like an asphalt cover, just to keep the water off. I like to give it as good a chance as possible. Now that we have it clean and open, we can put another waterproof cover on it. You can see what they did on that huge log. They put tin, this big old piece of tin on it, and I'm going to use asphalt on here. Let me show you one of the things I'm going to have to do, because it's not at all level. Like I said, it was leaning towards the downstream side out this way, and this seems to be the worst spot right here. So what I'm going to do, if I bring that up level, you can see I've got 1.5 inches probably right in there. So what I'll end up doing is putting laying a 2x4 in here, and then it may get smaller as I go up. Maybe get into 1x material at some point, but I got to make a nice smooth surface. Yeah, again, we've got that space underneath. You can see that it has to get filled if I go to level. If I hit level on the bubble, I got 1.5 inches or so underneath. So it looks to me like I'm going to end up starting probably with a 2x4 laid down on here. Anyway, that's kind of be the process next, is to get this downhill side, the downhill side leveled up. This one's good enough. That's nice and straight. I'm just going to go off whatever that is, whether it's level end to end or not. I'm not so much worried about that. It's just going across. Okay, so you can see what I did here. I put this layer of protective asphalt on top of the log, and this one I put a layer down, and then I shimmed all along to make this side even, make this side even with this side, because it was some places about 2 inches lower. So in anywhere from like 3/4 of an inch to 2 inches, 2 1/4 even in a couple of spots. So that's all leveled. I'm putting another layer of this asphalt over this one, just so when you look through the cracks, I don't want to see asphalt through one crack and this through the other crack. I'd like to keep it all nice and dark. So anyway, that's where we are at this point. So you can, now we're standing, you can kind of see the shimming under the bridge. That brought it all up nice and even and level, and that was the highest spot. It's 3/4 at the ends, both ends pretty much, and about 2 1/4 right there. And then I've got the asphalt protecting the layers, so should last a good long time. All right, so today I'm starting to put down the deck boards, and I'll give you a quick idea of the process. Put it in place. So I've got this string line to keep myself relatively straight as I go along. Keep the gaps relatively even. Then I'm pre-drilling. You can see I've got this 1-inch pipe on here, and that was the original design. I'm sure it's to keep these from having contact with anything and keep them dry underneath and aerate them. So what I'm doing is I'm drilling pre-drilling one hole on this side of the pipe, one hole on this side of the pipe, and that's exactly how it was done previously. More or less following the method that the original builders, or at least whoever redid this the last time, used. So, and then I've got these big 8-inch spikes, 28-ounce hammer, so on and so forth. So here's the progress for today. Just a few more boards to put on. You can see these two outriggers. That's where the upright posts for the railings will go, and the outriggers are so I can put little diagonal braces on there to give it some stability. You'll see that tomorrow when I put it together. That's what I'm doing right now, is working on those little uprights. Let me show you what they look like. These are the old ones. You know, they kind of stand up like that and give some stability. I'm making 4 brand new ones just because everything else is going to be new. So, I mean, these are still pretty rugged, but I think I'm going to raise them up just a little bit higher too and make some new ones. So these are the new railing uprights. I'm building them at my garage because it was easier to cut these, you know, using the chop saw. You can see they had these joints protected with this copper flashing. There were 3 of them that had it, 1 did not, but I was able to salvage the copper flashing and the nails. Actually, those are copper nails, and I had this one. I had this piece of scrap copper here at the garage, so I replaced the one that was missing with that. Interesting how they were doing these. You see, I've got some flashing on the feet. Haven't put it on these yet, but the way they did it, and I'm just copying what the last people who built this did, was they put a piece of flashing here, and actually this is some of the old stuff, and then they doubled it up. Let me show you a fresh one, a new one. I reused what I could. No reason not to, right? So what they did was they doubled up the flashing and then put this cap over it. So when these sit on the deck, the water is going to be able to flow away from these post bottoms, because that's really where you get your rot, is where that will contact. So now there's no way for water to sit underneath that post, because it's always going to be, whatever comes down the post is going to drip away from the post because of the way this is designed. So I thought it was pretty ingenious, so I just copied it. Certainly something I'm going to keep doing if I ever have to put more posts down, because that's almost always your point of rot, is where the 2 pieces connect. But now there's no wood to wood connection and no way for water really to get in there. So I like the idea. All right, so here are the uprights in place. You saw these earlier at the garage, and that one's standing and ready to be nailed in. I just want to show you how I attach these things, just so there's no nails or anything up here for water to start seeping in. What I did is I pre-drilled and bolted in from the bottom. So when we flip it up, like this, there's no place for water to start seeping in. And that's really what we're looking for. Again, these joints are nicely flashed, and I'll have copper flashing on the top of it as well, where these, because we're going to have some lap joints here with the railings. I'll show you those. I have to get some copper nails, so that's going to be a few days before I finish that. But anyway, so here's that, and the next thing to do is to finish nailing the boards on, and then we'll start the railings. All right, well, here's the last spike on the deck. As I pound it in, I thought I might mention that this is number 172. That's how many spikes are in here. But who's counting, right? Anyway, there it is. The deck is done. Now the railings. All right, so I'm working on the railings now. These are just hand-peeled local spruce logs. RMC Trail Crew prepared those for me. Got them all ready. So what we've got here are 4-inch pieces of conduit or whatever, like a receiver for the ends of these. You can see this one was the right size. It just fit right in. I hammered it on the end until it went all the way in. Same thing with this one. It fit right in there perfectly. I hammered it till it stopped. And this one was bigger than the hole. This one's already in place. I can't show you what I did, but let me show you what I did with this one. This is the same. This was ever so slightly bigger. So I took a 4-inch hole saw and ran it all the way down like this, and then peeled off the excess. So that fits into that hole perfectly. So hang on, it's hard. I've only got one hand here, so it's kind of hard, but anyway, you'll see that this will fit into that hole perfectly. And what I'm going to do is do an overlap, like a lap joint here with that one, and then a lap joint on these. This one was long enough to go across. So I just put the nail, I notched this down a little bit, and then I just put a nail in, and I'm going to cover these lap joints with copper, because that's the failure point typically. All right, so let me put these together and I'll show you the joints, and I'm wrapping it up here. All right, so that's half of the lap joint, and I'll bring this one up and I'll cut it to match. Okay, so the final step on this bridge was to cap these joints with copper. I showed you where they were and what they looked like before, and I just want to make sure no water can get into them, because that's where they always fail. So I've got these done up with some copper. Nice copper joints. That's the end product. So this is pretty cool. As I'm hauling the old deck boards down, I see this on the back side of one. Kyanized 1924 Brown Company. Must have been their version of pressure treating or preservative. Anyway, that's kind of neat. So these are the original deck boards from 99 years ago. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's an overview of the kind of work I do when I'm not eBaying and fishing and playing softball. So I hope you enjoy the videos. Please subscribe, and we will get back to our eBay stuff. But I just thought this would be interesting because it's something that means a lot to me, and I have a lot of fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.